can try. I've got line of sight.
All right. So, I got 6 people watching. That's crazy. Sorry that all you've been listening to is me typing like a maniac. All right. So, I got to remember that is not actually like live. This is what is. All right. So, here's the general plan. Because I got to finish this stupid thing tonight or I'm going to go crazy. Because I don't know if you remember, Brett, but I started this model last stream.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, and I've just been working on it like every night almost since then.
So what do you have left?
All right, so let's see. I got to do all of the leather on his boots and his gauntlet thingies. I need to do all of the spear. I need to do the cannon things at the front here, the missiles. Okay. I need to push the contrast on the cloth a lot to make it look different than the actual model. Mm-hmm. I need to paint the engines, which I don't know if you can see this on the camera. It should be coming up here, but let me just grab something that I can poke in there because these are ridiculously long. Like, I don't know, something like 3/4 of an inch deep in there. So that's going to be fun to paint. And then, because this is me, I'm going to pop this off of its magnet base here.
Yeah, where's all your freehanding?
Well, I'm not doing that on the regular guys. But if you look under here, I have started painting the detailing of the OSL on the underside.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to just sort of fake sketch my way through that. Now, if that all happens, I'm not saying it will. It sounds like a lot now that I'm saying it. If that all happens, the plan is to sand down the base a little bit and paint it up like this guy's base so that I can start to like lay out more of my scheme. Now, this is where the freehanding is, in case you were curious, because I refuse to base things if I don't have to. If I can just paint them, I will just paint them. So that's the plan.
Okay. And only like 16 more of these?
Oh, no, just 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's not too bad. For those of you listening, hello and welcome. If you wouldn't mind somebody letting me know how Brett's volume levels are. Last time they were really low, and we found that out after the fact. So, yep, we got painting to do. So, I think the plan is we start with the leathers because that's a good place to warm up and make mistakes.
See, it's literally a warm color. I get it.
It's also a good place to just like get my hand into shape. I've been assembling resin models all day, and I've torn up my fingers a little bit, so they're all unhappy with me. Where do I want to start with this? I think we just pick some colors and we go for it. Levels are good. Excellent. Did I get an Astreus built? Yes, I did. I got a full Astreus built, minus the parts that are just blue tacked together because I'm not painting them all put together like that. Forget it.
Okay, so what do you do when you're doing leather? What do you think about?
So, I hate trying to make this look blended on leather because to my mind, leather is basically not smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just sort of like fake scribble texture on it in the highlight areas. And if it works properly, it'll look like leather. And if it doesn't, then I'll try something else. Hobby-wise, I've been building a lot of models. I just got in a big shipment of expensive resin, as it were. And that's about it, honestly. Like, I've been doing a lot of video editing because the role of video editor is mine.
I assembled a sea Yachtner.
Ooh. Oh, hi, Chandler.
Hi. That was pretty good.
I'm so model. Jealous. Sea Yachtners are sweet.
Yeah, he is very cool. The only problem is because the basing scheme for my Nords is that like kind of grassy field of flowers, but he's like literally standing on like a beach, and that's just how he's sculpted. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
This one's just somewhere else, I guess.
Well, just do algae with a bunch of bright colors.
Yeah, I can make it like fit in just fine. It's just kind of funny. It's like he's just somewhere else. I don't know.
Yep.
He's doing his own thing.
Yep. Very nice.
I'm doing that. I'm gonna work on making a blooded into a ranged guy, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass because of the way they did him. I just need to find like a bow that fits him, because I was looking at the bow chosen's bows, but like he's so chunk and they're very like normal human being sized in comparison. So
Right.
a lot of the stuff looks a little small next to him, so I need to find like a bigger bow.
You could maybe look at some Kurnoth hunter bows from Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, it's a little what I was thinking. Possibly even, depending on the look, even some of the Stormcast stuff.
Oh yeah, they've got those
or-
massive like.
Yeah, they got some big bows. But I'll see. I'll play around with whether or not the bow chosen one will kind of work, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait I'm going to try a list that actually puts a blooded on the bow chosen. I have never tried a character on them. And you can't, Nords don't buff ranged too crazy with a character, but you can do a couple neat things.
Yeah.
The main thing is I think you can give them rerolling 6s to hit, if I remember right, and then 1s count as 2 hits.
So that's the equivalent to 40k reroll 1s and exploding 6s, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, works
Yeah,
out
Shade,
perfect.
Shade Moo, this has been an experiment purple. I'm quite pleased with it. It's the first time I've ever done it that like turned out
That's
okay.
that's what it says on the pot. Experiment purple.
Basically.
Failed
yeah.
experiment purple.
No.
Failed experiment purple. Yeah.
No, failed experiments just get painted over.
Highly successful experiment purple.
Like for example, this stupid model right here that's been painted over like 6 times in some spots. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's how test models go, right?
I mean, yeah, but honestly, this is just kind of my typical process in a lot of ways. There's a lot of like, well, this didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work this time. It worked the last 2 times. I guess we'll just try it again now.
Yeah. I got to get to the point where I'm putting in that kind of energy. Mostly, I'm just like, it's done. I don't care enough.
So the problem that I have is that like I'm almost always trying to push my limits enough that I can't actually necessarily recreate something I just painted the day before because it was like right at the edge of my ability level, and maybe I didn't get enough sleep, or maybe I had too much sugar, so my hands aren't as steady, or maybe like who knows, right? It's a frustrating experience.
Mm-hmm.
LA's totally awesome. Does mean never having to admit your stakes. Just chuck it in there for a night and reprime. Okay, this is running into an issue that I was concerned I was going to have, namely that the leather looks a little too much like the gold.
Yeah. I was just noticing that too.
Yeah. All right. So what that means is I'm going to come in here with some like red and maroon colors to glaze in a minute.
Yeah.
But I deliberately used a color that I decided not to use in this gold, but oh well. Let's see, what else have I been doing hobby-wise? Like, honestly, mostly I've just been like going, I can't wait for my Astraeus to get here. I can't wait for my Astraeus to get here. I can't wait. And then I'm going to do something very odd for me, which is I'm going to paint them kind of fast, and I'm not going to worry too much about them being technically perfect because they're freaking huge.
You're not gonna freehand a mural across the entirety of the model.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Let's not go too far.
Like, here's the thing. Freehanding stuff is actually kind of fast by comparison to, like, getting all the shading perfect and everything.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're trying to paint a picture, as long as it looks basically like what you're supposed to look like, people's brains will fill in the rest.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Especially since you have a kind of representative style.
Yeah. Yeah, I sure have developed a style over the last couple of years. Really weird looking at things and going, oh, yep, that's me.
So this is the second time I'm painting Logan 2.
Why?
Because I refused to buy it, and I'm borrowing it from someone different this time.
Oh, I see. That's funny. I should just mail you mine and be like, you can have this on semi-permanent loan.
I thought I was going to be done with X-Men, but then I had to roll dice, and I didn't like it.
This thing that I'm painting right here, Legionaries, this is going to be like my tournament list for 2023. Is Emperors or Emissaries Imperatus Custodes.
I guess that's the other thing I've been doing. I got partway through painting my Fiends today.
Nice.
They
Yeah,
have more
I kind
stuff on
Sorry,
them
go ahead.
than I realized.
Oh yeah.
Tentacles? Spikes?
No, it's they're so okay. This is the weird thing. So they're Slanesh demons, right? And
Okay.
so they're wearing like these sort of like legging kind of things, which if you look at their models is like fucking wild. But they don't do a very good job explaining at what point the leather or whatever cloth they're wearing is skin. Like they'll have times where it's like, oh, okay, I see that there's like kind of a cloth thing connected here via a weird little nail in their leg, which is weird. But then it just there's never a point where it's not like there's not a seam anywhere else. So I'm like, is this skin or is this still the weird thing they're wearing? But then there's like claws coming out of it. So I'm like, how does that make any sense? Or do they just wear more skin over their skin? I don't know, man. They're really weird. But there's also just a lot of little like gemstones and stuff like that they're wearing.
Yeah. I remember looking at the ones that were in that top 10 list at LVO and going, wow, these are much more involved than I thought they were.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing what I usually do, which is skip a few steps, but
That's fair. Shade Moo, what I'm doing here is I'm layering, what is this? This is Vallejo Flat Earth plus Procryl Dark Flesh on top of Procryl Dark Umber. And I'm just sort of like smacking it on there at somewhat reckless abandon. And now, to make it look less like I'm painting more gold, I'm going to paint some red glazing over it because, yeah. Meanwhile, Chandler is definitely playing some kind of fighting game.
yeah, I was hoping that wouldn't come through. Hold on. I don't know how to.
Chandler got caught playing fighting games.
No, I that's what I was planning on doing, but I don't. That's unfortunate. There's not a good way to like noise cancel.
Yeah,
I will draft Arena.
There you go.
Made enough gold yesterday. I watched a video today of a guy playing like the most disgusting, stupid deck. I don't remember the name of the creature, but he's like a 7 mana, like 2/2 or something. But he gains control of target permanent when he enters play.
Yeah.
The agent of something.
Agent of Treachery, yeah. I've got one in like almost all of my blue decks.
And then, yeah, if you control 3 or more cards that aren't yours, you draw 3 cards at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
He basically designed a deck around cheating that guy out and then copying him over and over and over again and stealing all your lands.
Yep.
And it was very entertaining to watch. He has so many weird ways to copy creatures in there, and it made me laugh.
Yeah, that card was in standard.
Yeah.
It made me laugh when he got him out turn 3 and forced a guy down to top decking lands to get to 2 lands every turn. I was like, that's rude.
Right. Yeah, it's not very nice. That's for darn sure.
Only thing worse than land destruction is land steal.
Yeah, it's like mine now.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for ramping me. That was very kind of you.
Yeah, he like took a guy's like planeswalker too. Like he's just stealing everything. He's like, "This is all my stuff now, thanks."
So Chandler, you remember that Marchesa deck where like I can sack things that have counters on them and they'll come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah.
It's like I'll put a counter on this. I'll sack it. I'll take your thing. Then I'll put a counter on that. Then I'll sack that, and it'll be mine.
Yeah, that it forgets who it belonged to.
No, it doesn't. It just
Well, so I did a version that was like temporary steal and then sacrifice.
oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
was a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little bit of that too, but I'm not quite that mean.
I think that bit of red did the job correctly.
Yeah, it no longer looks like the gold.
Yeah.
I think it needs another dark something in there, but it took it down. It gave it a different tonal value, which is really what it really wanted.
It's almost like you know what you're doing, but not quite.
Not quite. I'm not there yet. All right, we're gonna try something really crazy. I'm gonna try to glaze some dark purple on it now.
Well, first draft has an Eternal Wanderer in it, so I guess I'm making like an equipment deck.
Woo! There you go.
This is what I'm up to.
Well, yeah, you have to. It has your favorite thing in it. A rule that has an exclamation point in it.
Yeah, it does. For Mirrodin. Yeah, it's very good. Just means I have to draft a whole bunch of that stuff.
Just a tree.
Just a tree.
God.
For those of you that are curious, that was a War Machine Mark III rule that made things like very strange for some cards, or not cards, creatures, warcasters, solos, things, warjacks. Gosh, I had the weirdest experience a couple of days ago where I was like trying to talk about something, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm thinking about Warhammer rules in my head, and I'm talking about not Warhammer game system."
Yeah,
it's like, well, you're going to hit on two. Wait, hold on a minute. No, that's not. They don't even use D6s in this game. Okay, I am a big fan of what this purple is doing to this leather. It is making it much more darker looking without desaturating it like crazy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I wanted it to do. Plus, as an added bonus, it's kind of matching their bike now a little bit, which is...
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of like, it almost looks like lights reflecting off the bike.
I am pretty happy with that, because I was kind of hoping that would happen too.
Yeah. Is there anything worse on this entire Earth than people who draft slowly? Don't answer that question.
Yes, it's people that play really slowly.
Oh God! I mean, yeah, I ran across that. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
This guy was like, "Listen, I've got a turn timer, and I'm going to use it." I was like, "Jesus, stop!"
Every turn.
No joke. Like, it was ridiculous. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Oh gosh, people who play. Yeah, if you're playing Storm and you can't play quickly, like, do everybody a favor and don't play until you practice, please.
What just blows my mind is that they don't have like. There's not something that's like, hey, you've used your whole turn timer every turn. We're going to make the turn timer faster. Because he literally did it for like 12 straight turns. And because it's not turn timer, it's literally phase timer. Like it's, you can take enormously long turns in Arena if you're using the whole timer every phase, and it was just unreal.
I played a game once that lasted 6 turns and took 48 minutes.
Yeah it was absurd. I was like,
and I would have just conceded, except for I was 6-2 and I was like, if I win this then I'm good. And
right, you're like, I need to like, it's awful.
He's not playing this game. He's playing some other game where he wins if he makes you angry. Well, he's really good at it.
That's what it was. I was like, this guy has to be trolling me. Like, he's trying to get me to leave to get a free win or something. Like, it's got to be that.
Yeah, or like it could also be he could be playing multiple things at once. Like, I've been guilty of playing like Arena and chess at the same time before.
Yeah, but like the guy was literally using his timer like to a T every time, like exactly. And I was just like he was playing consistently the exact same speed. I was like, why? Make it stop. It's such a long game. It's exhausting.
Yeah, those are always the best, and by the best I mean the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is going all right. So, okay, actually, I'm gonna chat about some hobby stuff that I've been ruminating on about the way I paint lately. So I've discovered a couple things. One, my brush control is not as good as I thought it was. So, like, a lot of the things that I'm trying that take forever because I have to go back and fix things are just because I can't put the stupid paint in the spot that I want it to be first try every time. And then I've been noticing that when I've been like drawing lately too. Same kind of deal. Like I don't have the ability to place the material exactly where it needs to go first time. So I have to do a whole bunch of like backtracking and remixing and stuff. So that's been interesting. I think I'm going to have to try and like figure out a way to train that.
Oh, we can do the StarCraft micro tool.
See, but that doesn't help me with a paintbrush.
Do it while holding a paintbrush.
There you go.
Yeah, all right, checkmate, I guess.
Got you there.
Yeah, so like that's a thing. But like, and it's been coming up relatively consistently too. This back like cowl thing. The highlights on that took me like 4 tries because I just couldn't get the edge highlights exactly where they needed to go on the first run. So It took a lot longer than it probably should have. And especially watching some other really excellent painters paint on YouTube over the last couple of days, I just become like, all right, the difference between us is mostly you're way better at putting your paintbrush tip exactly where it needs to go the first time.
Yeah.
Because like they're talking through and I'm like, yep, I understand this. It's all good. I get it. And then they're just like, and now I will paint exactly where I want to paint. And I'm like, how?
Nowhere else.
And nowhere else. It's like, why? Why? How? Is it possible to learn?
Yeah, I was laughing. I watched like tutorials and stuff, and they're like, and then you just paint in here like this, and you're like, Jesus, dude, you just do it. You're like, guy,
Yep.
I would get just paint everywhere in there. You don't understand.
Yep. Yeah, so turns out some people are crazy good at this, and they're out there.
Yeah,
The other thing... Sorry, go ahead.
It's just a factor of time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get there eventually, probably, as long as I stay healthy and don't lose my hands or something.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. The other thing is, I watched an oil painting video yesterday that blew my freaking mind. Like, shook me to the core almost with how profoundly it changed the way I think about the way that I want to paint. So I'm doing research now.
So what is the difference of oil and acrylic painting?
Oh, okay. Let me grab something that I don't care about that I can just slap paint on, and I'll try to show you the best I can. Nope, Bullseye, you're actually good now, so you get to be spared. Abaddon, you're too expensive. Oh, this guy. Come here, random other custode model that I'm not going to paint for a little bit because reasons. Yeah, so let's just focus on you. Okay, so this is the very fast version of what he did with oil paint. Okay, I'm going to show you kind of like something. So, I need to get actually undiluted paint. So what you do with oil paint, first of all, it has like an infinity dry time, right?
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah, and in fact, he actually adds drying agents to it so that it dries in 10 hours or 12 hours instead of in like 2 weeks. So that's good. So if you're looking here at the screen, you're going to see I'm going to put down this like line of white paint. And then I'm going to quickly put down this line of some other color of paint that I'm choosing from my palette at random. I guess it's black. Now, in acrylic, you're done there. But with oils, you can come back 15 minutes later and you can feather between these two things and blend them. And the white is actually stronger than the black in oils.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can make this really smooth transition, very clean, with relatively, as best I can tell, all this is certainly just because I was watching somebody really good do it, relatively little effort, just make a beautiful transition. And unlike acrylic, you don't have to rush, so you can control every brush mark. And you suddenly just have this beautiful, like, thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched him like slap a bunch of little teeny dots of paint all over the Sister of Battle, and then come back like 10 minutes later as after he'd done like this on everything on the Sister of Battle and just blend it all together just seamlessly with no problems. And it was like, I want to do that.
I want to do that. It's funny. So because it dries slower, so it's a much more time-intensive process.
Nope, it's actually faster, I think, except for the fact that you have to wait for it to dry overnight.
Yeah.
But I think like net time working. So like say you were working on a unit of something, right? I think that it would be more efficient to just paint with oils because you could do the whole unit to a pretty good standard. And then like, yeah, you have to wait overnight now for the layer to dry, but oh no.
Yeah, it makes assembly line a lot better.
Yeah, because you can just go in and do like, I'm going to do all of the highlights on this area and just do it, right? And then come back later and still blend everything and it would be perfect. So
I always see oils like really thickly on paints. Is there a thinner oil that you could use that doesn't obscure detail?
So that is... So now we're getting into quality of paint.
Okay.
Good oil paint can be painted directly on miniatures because the amount of pigment in it is so high compared to volume that you can just take a very teeny little bit and smush it all over the place. You don't need to dilute it at all.
Okay.
And so actually he recommended not diluting it with a thinner, although you can. What he recommended instead, and actually this was something that kind of made me think a lot too, was... Oh no, what did I just do? Oh no, it's okay. Was he laid out the difference between opaque and translucent pigment paint, because oils work with translucent pigments, not just opaque pigments that are thinned, which is all that we get in the acrylic world, is thinned opaque paints, which have lots of problems because they are only able to do specific things, whereas translucent paints, like he did this thing on the pistol case for this model where he base coated it in translucent brown and then took his white paint and just painted on the edges like in a really sort of loose stroke pattern. And because the translucent paint was underneath it, it blended as he was doing it and made this beautiful leather pattern. It took him approximately 10 seconds and he was done. And it was just like, what? And all of these things, like I could do a lot of the things that he did with the oils with acrylics, but it would take triple or quadruple the work time and a lot more finesse in terms of placement because you got to get it right the first time. You can't blend it out afterwards.
Yeah, so the fact that it's slower is actually a huge benefit.
Oh yeah, 100%. No question there. I think that's definitely true. So and the other thing you said that was really intriguing was that actually oil paints for big models is really good to brush on because it goes so far with so little, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that intrigues me as well because I like painting big models.
And you cannot lie.
And I cannot lie. And I also refuse to use an airbrush because I don't know. I have problems, I guess.
Well, I thought you used an airbrush for a while and then broke.
I broke it, but it was an accident. Well, so here's the thing. I didn't really use it. Like, I used it to airbrush the base coats on some MCP terrain. And, like, I base coated my Storm Raptor multiple years ago now with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was about it. Like, I never really got good at using it.
And I used it on my Conquest models that came out great. Highly.
Yeah, I am not joking when I say that you've almost certainly used your airbrush more than I've used an airbrush at this point. Like, I would expect that you are more proficient at using yours than I ever was with mine. So, yeah, I don't know. It's made me really think. Now, the downside to this, of course, is that oil paints of the quality that I think I have to get are really expensive.
Yeah.
But I think per ounce or per milliliter, they're still less expensive than painter or model paint. So
They just don't come in as small quantities.
no, they come in like double or triple the size. But the other thing is, like, you don't need a wet palette, and they'll still be good for a couple of days.
Yeah,
Because
just buy RGB and mix everything.
it wouldn't just be RGB, but yeah, like that's kind of the plan. It would be to just get like 10 to 15 paints, probably. Oh,
Fine.
more leather.
CMYK. Oh, the idea of a K
about
paint.
that. I'm confused.
So those are the ways that you can represent color on a computer. RGB is obviously just whatever.
Here's my favorite paint: cyan, magenta, yellow, and key.
Oh, and it's cyan. It's cyan, magenta, yellow, and what? What's the other one?
It's not a color. It's like, I think it's tone, right? Or
It's a black technically, but it's
It's the toner.
Yeah.
Interesting. Camblin 1980s. Yeah, I have no idea if that's any good or not. I don't know anything about oil paint. Like, I just don't. I haven't worked with it except for once when I followed a Bob Ross tutorial when I was like 20 and I was bored. That is the extent of my worked with oils.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The other thing that I really liked about the way that it looked is I spent so much time when I'm painting with acrylics trying to get the right translucency of paint as I'm putting it on. And because you can just infinitely blend with oils, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just like, yeah, just paint with full size or full, don't dilute it at all, is basically what he was saying. It's just paint it on there. And then if you want a color somewhere between the color you've got and some other thing, just blend it on the model. And I was like, oh, that sounds sick.
it's like the ultimate form of two brush blending.
Yeah, basically. It's just like wet blending for days. And I mean, that's where it was originally at.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's all oil painting is, right?
Yep. Placement, blending. Yeah, so I don't know. I expect I will be trying that in the very near future because it has intrigued the ever-living daylights out of me. It just seems like the way that I want to paint. Okay. So, rapidly, I am running out of patience with this part of this process. So it is possible. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm excited about Shatterpoint, but I don't know how much we have to talk about it. They're doing a really good job of getting me excited.
Uh-huh.
Previews.
Yes, they are.
For example, they showed a talent tree as the attack, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I love it. like they didn't even explain how it worked at all, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, that's true. It has been a lot of like, this is Chandler and Brett bait kind of stuff.
And I love that. I'm like, wait a second. This scenario system sounds real familiar.
Oh yeah, it's a lot like the one we're working on.
Great minds and all.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to I didn't really want to talk about Shatterpoint, I guess. I wanted to talk about like what has happened in the last 3 to 5-ish years in terms of games and scenarios as like as an important piece.
And Shatterpoint's a great example of that because they're very clearly thinking about that when they're writing these previews.
Yes.
Because they're doing a really good job of previewing the things that are interesting.
Yeah, well, they're doing a really good job of previewing things that are interesting to us, but I don't know how good of a job they're doing previewing things that are interesting to most people.
I think that's okay, though, because they're not really advertising it, right? They're just putting it on their website and their Facebook, so really only committed fans are going to find it. Like,
that's true, I suppose.
When the models come out, they're going to start showing those to everyone, and that's what's going to bring in Star Wars fans. Right now, the only people paying attention are people who care about the game itself.
Right. And I guess we're going to start seeing those, like, Adepticon is in a week? 2 weeks?
Almost 3. It's the
Okay.
22nd.
Oh, right. This has just been a really long week.
Yeah, I had to actually do work this week. It sucked.
Oh, no. Poor Brett. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, Shatterpoint's doing some really interesting stuff in that they.
So the biggest thing you were asking about was how scenarios have changed, and the thing that AMG has been doing better than almost anyone else is that the rules for their scenario are baked into their game,
and specifically into their models, I think is where that stands out the most to me. Because, like, the only one that's coming close to that is, what, Malifaux?
I mean, Rivenstone is halfway there.
Sure. Rivenstone's not out yet, though, so I don't count it.
Sure. Yeah, Malifaux has... But it's only like 2 or 3 keywords interact with it.
I guess Games Workshop is doing a reasonable amount of it, too. Like, they've got a whole bunch of different things that are like, we take away objective secured, or we give out objective secured, or we count as extra models, and therefore we control the scenarios better. Or, like, we're a special kind of unit that can do actions easier than other things.
They feel more tacked on than when it's like, here's a deck of cards, here's a clear set of, in-universe terms that all fit together.
Right.
And just, like, the scenario choosing system for Crisis Protocol is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Like, being able to... Yeah. Crisis Protocol's greatest strength, I 100% think, is its scenario system. It sure isn't the dice. Heyo.
Psychic damage.
Shout out to the Marvel Crisis Protocol cast that we did a few months ago, where we talked about ways to deal with dice tilt.
I need to listen to it again.
Yeah, you do.
I'm so mad.
I know, I can tell. I think it's really funny. Sometimes I feel a little bit like Mr. Incredible. It's like, I just fixed this mess. Can you stop? Can you keep it clean for, like, except for it's Marvel Crisis Protocol and, like, your mental well-being. It's like, I just fix this. Can you stop breaking Brett for, like, I don't know, 10 minutes?
They cannot.
No, apparently not. Oh gosh, more stuff comes out tomorrow. I'm 2 months behind on releases now. I don't think I've ever been that far behind. That's what happens when you decide to get a bunch of expensive resin instead.
I mean, which game do you actually play?
40K.
So yes, you should be buying the resin.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe not. But
yeah, I tested the waters. I'm like, well, what if I 3D printed a 40K army? And then my friend's like, well, then no one here will play with you. I'm like, okay, that was fun.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they're all up in arms about it.
That's interesting. My local area, there's multiple people that play that at tournaments.
Yeah. Well, and it's the student loan thing, right?
Oh, I bought my stuff, so you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, the bits don't. Now, there are some dedicated builders or makers out there that are like Piper is a good example, who makes incredible 40K models that look better than the originals in a lot of cases. But yeah, I mean, you can just tell them that your friend won Best Painted at Seattle Open and was made to put on stream playing with, like, definitely super maybe questionable Chaos Knight conversions. Actually, don't tell them that. But
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just tell on Jaden. It's fine.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
I already have, like, at least one of the staff members for those opens who just like comes up to my army every time he's around. He's like, just looks at it. It's going to be weird if I'm not playing Chaos Knights at the Open, though. That'll be very strange.
Yeah.
I'm playing a different 20 model list.
No. Chaos Knights can't get to 20 models. The most we can do is 13. But yes, I'd be playing somewhere between 20 and 28, or maybe 30 models. Although, I built an Emperor's Chosen list with like 16 models in it today that looks pretty fun. It's
so Emperor's Chosen, not to be confused with Emperor's Children.
Oh yeah, sorry. Emperor's Chosen is a specific sub-faction of Custodes.
Oh, okay. Custodes came out after I quit.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so it's like 5 Dreadnoughts, 2 Caladius tanks. That's like 1,300 points or something of the list. The argument there being that the shield host benefit for Emperor's Chosen is you get to reroll a hit or wound roll per phase per unit. And so on units that make like a couple really high priority attacks, that's really strong for making the consistency better.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the other half of that is they get to ignore mortal wounds on a 4-up, which dunks on a lot of factions.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't mortal wounds the way you deal with this crap?
Yeah, and then you can't. And it's like, well, Yeah, no, Shade Moon. It sounds like an absolute blast. And then I can't remember what else is in it. Like, I think for sure there's a Trajan because you just don't not play Trajan. And then, man, what else did I even put in that list? Why can I not keep this flipping modeling frame? I think it's got like a couple units of Venatari for scenario. It's got a shield captain on bike because reasons. He's another one of those models that you just never leave home without. You know what the worst part is? This isn't even my shield captain, although it might be after this.
This is my final form.
Yeah, my shield captain. Okay, I did something a teeny weeny bit power gaming with my shield captain and gave him a spear that points down so that he's harder to see.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Every single Custodes player that I played against has a shield captain with the spear pointing down. So
that's how you know that they're the captain.
Yeah, they're charging you. They're the tip of the spear. The spear's got to be down in order for the tip to do anything, right?
It's just, oh my god, you can. It's so irritating that like the players have to police that.
Nah, nobody cares, man. Like, here's the thing: the Vertus Praetor unit, which is what the shield captain is made out of, comes with 3 poses. 2 of the spears point kind of down, and 1 of the spears points up. So you just don't give him the spear that points up. Like, it's not a big deal.
No, I understand that it's not a big deal. It's just it shouldn't be in the player's court at all.
Oh. I mean, in fairness, you usually can't shoot him anyway because he gets to have Lookout Sir for some reason. But he rides the line of what you can Lookout Sir exactly on the nose because he's got 9 wounds. And he is maybe the hardest to kill 9-wound thing in the game that doesn't have a wound gate.
All right, I don't want to know what a wound gate is. Don't tell me.
It means that you can't take more than X amount of damage per phase.
What did I just say?
I ignored you. My job isn't to protect you from 40k. My job is to just tell you things. But yeah, like, so Abaddon can't take more than 3 damage per phase, so you can't kill him in a phase. But I think, like, Chandler, can you think of anything harder to kill than a shield captain on the jet bike with 9 wounds or less?
I mean, for like the point cost, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, he's like 165 points or something, or 180 points.
Yeah.
2-up save, 4-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain.
That's the one thing that I miss about fantasy.
Hmm.
You get to call it a ward save. At least it's a short one-syllable word, rather than having to say invulnerable or the awkward shortenings of it.
That's fair.
A lot of people actually will call it a ward save because it's the same thing.
Did they fix it? When I played, you got a ward save after you failed your armor save.
Oh, is that okay? Maybe it is a little different.
Yeah, I don't think this.
So that sounds like it's more like a feel no pain then.
Yeah, that's what that is. Do I want an STL? No, I don't think so. I've already built all of my Vertus Praetors, and I'm kind of done building them. They're an adventure, and I'm pretty happy to be over it at this point.
I guess the models weren't really the biggest issue. It's just the fucking list building. Like, I know me. I'm going to have to understand all fucking 100 Space Marine models and all the stupid chapters and all the stupid like successor chapter rules. I'm
Brett,
just like,
why would you play Space Marines? You don't like Space Marines.
I have 0% chance of playing Space Marines. I have to know what they do though.
Oh, well, See, I don't tend to, I don't know. See, here's my thing about 40K, okay? And this has been, like, I've done pretty well at tournaments, even for my relative inexperience level, just using this basic metric. The three important things in 40K are what makes it go faster, what makes it hit harder, what makes it harder to kill. And that's about it. And usually the answer to that question is really simple, and it's maybe a stratagem or it's a chapter tactic, and I can figure it out on the table as I'm setting up to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Death Watch, their entire thing is everything in our army cannot be wounded on less than a 4.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is usually most armies have a couple of like big things you need to know about, and then the rest of it's like little things.
Yeah, Deathwing, sorry. Death Watch or something else. Death Watch are
and it's similar to War Machine in that, like, because we talked about this a ton. In that there's a lot of just knowing what questions to ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you know the things you need to ask, then you can kind of figure out the stuff you need to know.
But I enjoy the list building process. I enjoy, like,
you're not list building Space Marines. You don't have to worry about it.
But I have to know what they're capable. Like, I don't know. That's just how I play stuff. Is I build everyone's lists, and I'm like, all right,
that is how you learn. So the nice thing is, though, that like 75% of Space Marine stuff is terrible, so you can just ignore most of it.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Most of it's just trash.
Like, wow. Is it Blood Angels? Is it?
Well, it's the nature of Space Marines.
Space
Marines have such a comically huge model line.
Yeah,
and
so
like
irritating.
Most of it's just not good.
Yeah, they have like more HQs than a lot of factions have models, which is a thing. I don't know. Like, I just had to dive into it a little bit because I'm building this Iron Hands list with the 2 Astraeuses, and like it's a touch overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it's like most of these models do approximately the same thing, so we don't need to worry too much.
Yeah, it kind of makes it worse. So now it's like I'm going to invest all this time, and the result is, it's like Infinity.
Sure. I don't know. Mostly, I'm just kind of like enjoying playing my weird skew factions that nobody really understands a whole lot that well. Mm-hmm. Like 99% of games that I've walked up to people with Chaos Knights and been like, "Do you understand how Harbingers of Dread work?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "All right."
You're like, I'll figure it out as I go. I'm like, well.
Are you sure about that, pal? Let me explain it to you. Yeah. And then, like, you do, and they gloss over stuff, and then it's turn 4, and you turn off all their OBSEC within 12 of your models, and they're like, what? It's like, yeah. You don't get to have it anymore. Or, like, it's turn 2, and it's like, you must make dread tests to charge me. And they're like, okay, but I can reroll those, right? No. Okay, but I can, like, get a bonus to that somehow, right? Do you have ways to pump your leadership right now? No. Then no.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. I like dread tests. I think they're one of the most interesting mechanics in 9th edition. Yeah. And oh, I know what's going on. I didn't set up the camera to have a really, really high f-stop this time. That's why this is so hard to focus on.
So I finally got my friends to play Ascension Tactics, the deck building war game.
Uh-huh.
And they really liked it. And so I bought the expansion.
Okay.
And so that's probably what I'm going to be painting next.
Nice. I taught my 6-year-old how to play Call to Adventure this week.
Ooh, I like that game.
Yeah.
Not quite the same game, but I keep seeing Role Player on the shelves. I'm like, oh, I should buy that.
I just want more sweet Call to Adventure like crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can I have more of these, please? Like, all right, tell me that you guys would not freak out, like, absolutely delighted to have Wheel of Time Call to Adventure.
That would be pretty dope.
I'd play that. And we're like half the audience right there.
Yeah. But yes, it actually really made him like kind of nervous because I did like we don't get to pick our starting things or our destinies or anything, and I inevitably got like corrupted by darkness and then turned into the the arch villain. He's like, but Dad, why? Like, don't worry about it, dude. You're just gonna win this game because this one sucks. He's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I can live with that.
Yeah, he's like, yep. He's very. Oh gosh, so he had to do this like creative writing thing today, and it was like, what is the best thing? What is the thing that the best fort would have? And he's like, a roof. It's like, okay, you're not wrong, but most 6-year-olds wouldn't have even cared about that. It's a funny little mind. Why did I decide to do OSL in this army?
Because OSL's fun.
Everybody loves OSL.
OSL with non-metallic metals is not that fun. Although it has led to maybe my favorite piece of painting on the whole jet bike so far, so that's fair, I guess. There's a little section on the dark side of the model where the OSL from the vents like reflects off the gold and looks pretty good.
So, can confirm the Eternal Wander with Farmiridan artifacts thing is dumb as hell.
Nice.
I finally got it.
Have you won already?
I'm 2-1. The first one I don't know, the other guy just had a lot better stuff than I did. But for anybody that doesn't know, so the new set has a mechanic called Farmiridan ! Very important. It's actually a really cool way to make equipment more interesting without having to make like broken equipment.
Yeah, it's fixed living weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
Cough living weapon.
They're basically equipments that are usually kind of overcosted, but when you play them, you get a 2/2 token and it equips to that token immediately. Which is great. So like for an example, there's like the Miran Bardiche, which is a 5 mana. It just gives creature +2/+1 and vigilance, which is neat. But it's expensive, right? 5's a lot for that. And its equip cost is like 4, which is gnarly. But you play it and you immediately get a 2/2. So you think of it as it's a 5 cost 4/3 with vigilance that when it dies, you still have the equipment and can re-equip it, right? So it's like you get repeated value out of it. Which is a cool mechanic. But then I have the Eternal Wanderer, which is a planeswalker. Firstly, she has a thing that says that no more than one creature can attack her, which is silly. And then her +1 is exile an artifact or creature and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of that player's next end step. So I just play Farmiridan artifacts and then bounce them every turn. So I'm just getting, and then if bouncing it doesn't make sense, her 0 is create a 2/2 white samurai with double strike.
Probably a pretty good target for equipping.
Yeah, so basically, anytime I have an equipment that's not equipped to something and I don't have the mana to do it, I bounce it. And then if all my equipment is equipped, I just make the samurai because it's a little better than the rebel token that you get. And you just sit there, you go, like, my stuff's a little inefficient, but I'm just going to sit here and outvalue you forever until, which in draft, like, you just can't keep up, like, unless you have some very specific tools. The downside is I only have one of her in the deck because it was draft. So it's just like, I got 40 cards. Hopefully she comes up, I guess. Otherwise, you're just playing a pretty bog standard equipment deck, which is fine. Right. It's not bad, but I got some cool ones. Like I have like Leon and Lightbringer. He's a 3-cost 3/2 with Ward 2, and then as long as he's equipped, he has +1/+1. I got like 3 of him, so he's pretty good. He's annoying to remove because you have to because of that Ward 2.
Ward 2 and up is kind of basically the equivalent of hexproof in a lot of board states.
I was watching a thing that was talking about hexproof, and they're saying how like hexproof is like there was a while where they were kind of putting it on a lot of things, and
it's a
shitty mechanic, right, to deal with.
It's
just
not
like,
the best.
well, this sucks. Whereas Ward is like fixed hexproof, right? You're like, listen, you can still interact with this, you just have to pay for it, right? Which is a little more reasonable, at least. But there is like, what the hell is he? There's the new. Which one is it? I don't remember the name of it, but there's a creature that they put out that has like Toxic 4 or something. I think it has haste. Okay. It's pretty expensive. And then he has like Ward 4.
Yeah.
It's just like good luck, I guess.
Yeah, Ward 4 is effectively hexproof.
Yeah, it's like very nearly, right? Like you have to give up your whole turn getting rid of it if you have a lot of mana.
Which is a kind of big if for a lot of board states. I mean, like, even Ward 2 is occasionally just enough to be like, well, great.
Yeah, especially if you don't have hyper efficient removal.
Oh, here it is. It's Tyranax Rex. Yeah, he's a mythic rare, but it's a
Mr.
7-cost.
Dino.
Yeah, it's a 7-cost 8/8 can't be countered trample Ward 4 haste Toxic 4. It's your like, I've got you most of the way toxic, but I can't get the game to end, and you just like slam him down and trample through and delete them. And God save them if they've already got Zopandrel on the field, he'll probably kill your life before he'll kill your poison, because that makes him into a 16/16 with trample and haste. Just like
that's excessive.
Yeah, he's coming. Oh Lord, he's coming. Yeah. This is a cool set. The toxic I really like, because I like weird win conditions in any game, and so the toxic I do like, but I am getting a little tired of playing against it.
Yeah, I'm told that it makes the format super aggro.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So white green aggro has white green aggro has like it's breaking into stuff. It's very strong, and it's because white green is the best way to build a toxic creature deck. If you go like more black or blue, then you're leaning more on proliferate. So you're just trying to get like 1 or 2 toxin on them, and then just like playing a control deck while copying counters.
Sure.
I was watching the Pro Tour draft coverage, and they were just like, so here's the deal. If you don't play a thing on turn 2 and on turn 3, you probably lose.
And if they like, if their turn 1 and 2 is Rot Priest into Rot Priest, like, just concede. Like, unless you have some really particular tools. It's such a stupid thing so the Rot Priest, where is it? Venerated Rot Priest. God, Arena hates when I search for things.
He's a 1/2 for 1. He's got toxic 1.
He's a 1/2 for 1, toxic 1, and then whenever a creature you control becomes target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter.
Oh my god!
That it can be your spells. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't matter whose spells it is. Yeah, at all. And so you run like green. You run some like some spells that you put on your own stuff, some combat tricks and stuff, and then you run a little bit of like proliferate and then in the white side, so you're running just some big toxic stuff. White side, you're running stuff like Crawling Chorus, who was a very people didn't think this card was as good as it was, but it's just a 1-cost 1/1 with Toxic 1 that when he dies, you create a 1/1 that can't block with Toxic 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just sneaks attacks through. You've got that. You've got the Sinew Dancer, who he's got a 4-cost tap himself to tap target creature. But if they have 3 poison counters, it only costs 1 white to tap a target creature, which is really dumb. You've got Skrelv's Hive, which is an enchantment at the beginning of your turn. Take 1 damage and summon a 1/1 that can't block and has Toxic 1. You play like multiple of those, and you just like spam out tons of these little shitheads, and then you've got these Rot Priests just ending the game for you because they're incredible. The Rot Priest even immediately started making waves in
Rot Priest is going to get banned in Modern, I guarantee it.
Yeah, it started making waves in Modern, which a brand new card like making a notable dent in Modern is always a wild.
It has
thing.
a pretty reliable turn 2 kill, which is concerning. Shademoot Crawtooth is an awesome model, and I'm excited to see that in our hobby channel.
There's the thing is like turn 2 kills exist in Modern, but they're usually they only are allowed to exist if they're really inconsistent.
Yeah, this one is absurdly consistent. It's
turn 3 generally is fine, but it's not like Legacy where it's like turn 1 kill, it's fine.
Brett, you play Storm, but your end condition is the 1 cast thing that targets your own creature and gives it, I can't remember, some bad ability. And so you like just cantrip, like you've got Mutagenic Growth, you've got the Storm thing, you've got some Manamorphoses, and you've just end up just basically like, so if you've got a Rot Priest on the table and you Mutagenic Growth, that's a poison counter. If you do it again, that's a second poison counter. You've already cast 2 spells this turn. Then you can cast a Manamorphose, you're up to 3 spells. If you get another like 1 or 2 mana cantrip, because the Storm card it costs 1. So the end of this chain, all you have to have is 1 mana and have cast like 6 spells and targeted the Rot Priest with 4 of them, and the game's over. And
Oh, is it the one where? Oh no, we can't block.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yes, can't block. Yep. And so it's just like, all right, cool, and you can fairly reliably do this on turn 2.
Have you seen the turn 0 kill deck?
No.
It's so funny. What is it that it is? It uses Gemstone Caverns.
They come into play. Yeah,
it's the land that comes into play if you in the first turn. So you don't you can have it on the field even if it's not your turn yet. But how it works is, so you need a very particular hand. Like, this isn't a good deck, but it's very funny. You need Flash in your hand. You need Protean Hulk in your hand.
Okay.
Or Summoner's Pact.
I was going to say Summoner's Pact is in there somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah. So you... it's so stupid. It's in your opponent's first upkeep.
Yep.
Strong start.
You flash in Hulk. A 7-cost 6/6. And when he's put into graveyard, so you get all of your X-cost creature artifacts and a bunch of Disciples of the Vault. And you basically bring out a whole bunch of artifacts and something that sacrifices them to do damage, and then you sacrifice them all and kill your opponent.
Yeah, it is.
It's in your opponent's upkeep phase. It's pretty wild. It's the turn 0 kill deck.
Is that in Mod? No,
it's Legacy. I
was going to say, because I'm pretty sure that Disciple of the Vault is banned.
Well, and even because if I remember correctly, even Legacy does restrict things.
Legacy
doesn't. It bans.
What's the one that restricts? What am I thinking? Vintage. That's what. Sorry, this is what I'm thinking of is Vintage.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's no more degenerate than a lot of things. Vintage.
This is just the turns. There's so much like I went first and killed you, but at least you get to take a turn. This is like the only one people have worked out that's literally like in your opponent's upkeep, they die. You're like, oh, okay. But my
Good
favorite
times.
thing, so I looked up on this website because I was trying to remember exactly how the deck worked. And now this is a freeform format version, which
Mhm.
means nothing is restricted. So they have 4 Black Lotuses in there, which is very
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
So that means that this deck costs, according to this, $100,000.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's kind of low end for a Black Lotus, actually. But like they have 4 Black Lotuses listed as $71,000, which to me is like the absolute bottom end of like a low quality Black Lotus. But I guess that's what they're going with.
Yeah.
Because we found that one that was what, $180K. That was like
it
near
just
mint.
depends. Like
Yeah,
it depends
it
on the
depends a
set,
lot.
and also like
Mhm.
you know who's selling it sometimes matters.
Oh,
too.
for sure. Yeah. So it's just like what was it on auction, or what did it actually successfully sell for on auction last, right?
Yeah.
I was laughing. So Vera, my wife, she was selling a bunch of her computer parts. Basically, she updated a bunch of her computer, which funny secondary story. So she updated her computer a whole bunch, and she uses her computer heavily for work, right? She's a 3D motion graphics builder. So like her computer being immensely powerful is very good for us. Like it's something she needs to, so she has to have a very top of the line machine all the time. So she spent a whole bunch of money on it, and I basically got like all the leftovers from her old machine, which upgraded my machine by obscene amounts. Like it was wild. Like she was like, I guess I don't need these parts anymore. I was like, can I have them? And my machine is like 100 times better, which made me laugh. But anyway, the other thing is, so she put up a bunch of the other parts that we couldn't use for sale, right? Like she has like a processor that she wasn't using. And this guy, so she put them up for sale locally, because Utah has a really good classifieds site.
KSL.
Yeah, KSL classifieds is great. Every time I go like out of state, I'm like, how do people find shit? Because I'm used to having that. Yeah, so she put it up on there, and this guy messaged her and was basically going on about how like a whole bunch of them have sold for like $40 less than what she had it for, and she should sell it for that. And she was like, yeah, they sold for that because they're too cheap. Like they're way undercosted, and like within a couple days had a bunch of examples of them selling for the amount she had it up for, which was very funny. Yeah, this guy would like not let up too. It was obnoxious. We're like, okay, leave it alone, guy. Yeah. What do I get with this mastery tree thing? So I got this mastery tree thing in Arena, right, where you can go through and like unlock cosmetics, and I got everything I want, and I keep getting things, and I don't know what the fuck to do with it.
Did you unlock the mastery thingy? Did you like pay the shards for it?
I did buy the like battle pass thing. Yeah, I'm only level like 30 on it, but it seemed worth it to me with all the packs you get and stuff.
What ended up happening usually for me is that I would get to like level 100, and then it would be like the day it was going to expire.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it and get all the packs.
That I think is the correct way to do it. Is just play out the battle pass and then buy it at the end if you max it out. Yeah. But you get this mastery thing where you like have little nodes that you get like cosmetic shit on. But like I unlocked the Elish Norn avatar and the Jin Cataxias avatar, so like I don't know what else I'm supposed to get, because that's everything that's wrong. I guess I'll get the Shieldred one. Like sure,
Shieldred's pretty cool.
Shieldred is cool, but like Jin Cataxias and Elish Norn. Elish Norn to me is one of the coolest character designs I've ever seen. I think she looks so cool.
Elish Norn is one of the first card alters I ever did that I was like very happy with.
Yeah. And then Jin Cataxias, I just immediately fell in love with him when you sent me that stupid card because it's so dumb.
Yep.
I was like, what is this card? Why does it do that?
Yeah.
Nothing should do that.
Boy, yeah, I was playing a really disgusting Azorius control deck in Standard before I stopped playing about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
It ran 2 of him and 2 Hull Breacher Horrors and 2 Wandering Emperors and 2 Kaitos and 2 Soren the Mirthlesses, and it was just like a bunch of card draw in Value Town. It was like,
if you get him on the field and he sticks, how do you lose from there? Unless you're
you don't.
Like
your opponent concedes usually.
Hey, Brent, I'm going to read with this card, or Brett, whoever the fuck I'm talking to. I don't know.
Jin Cataxias?
Yeah. Do you know what Progress
counter the
Tyrant
first spell.
Taxis does?
You
Yeah.
counter the first spell they play.
And you double all your shit.
Yeah.
Why does he do both of those
He
things?
costs 7. He might as well read I win.
I know.
I mean, good 7 drops.
I mean,
too,
I have him in a
usually I win.
commander deck, which like expensive stuff occurs there a lot. But
No, you could get him out of standard easily enough.
oh, for sure. No, I know you
It wasn't-
can, but like the power
wasn't
level
hard.
stuff in commander versus elsewhere is always kind of funky. But
Mhm.
like, it's just what a dumb card.
Yeah.
Well, that he was how I accidentally made a bunch of 80/80 artifacts. Because
There you go.
I played
Accidentally making 80/80.
I played the card that copies all my artifacts,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot he was on the table, and I was like, oh my god, I double it. I copy all my artifacts 2 times, and I had like mirror battle spheres on the table, so they copy and then make 4 more mirrors each,
Oh my god.
and like
Like you do.
like, oh Jesus, now I want to do it with Mondrak on the table, but
Yeah, well, that's
That's
just
like the
because you're a bad
apocalypse.
person. Yeah,
Mondrak's
that
so
would be
cool,
absurd.
and his cost is going down, which makes me happy. Wanted to go
That's
down and then later go up. Oh, he went back up a little bit. That's unfortunate. He'll probably go back down.
Yay, the magic stock market.
Yeah. Oh no,
I
there's some like
remember-
near mid ones for pretty cheap. Okay. Yeah.
I remember when Shadowmoor came out, the red-white land that checked, the red-white check land, it was the first time it was ever printed.
Hmm.
All the other lands were like $6-7, and that one was $1.50 because red-white was just terrible at the time. So my
Yeah.
dad was like, all right, Jaden, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put $600 into this card. I was like, are you crazy, Dad? Because like we were pretty poor. And he was like, no, I think this is going to be a good one. And so we put 600, and then a couple days later he put another 600 into it without telling me. I mean, I was like 10, so he didn't need to tell me, but and then he just held on to them for about 2 months and then sold all of them at $8 a piece.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, it was just like, that's why we got to go somewhere fun that summer. Actually, it was kind of like, yeah. So this was all of those red white lands that I just sold for $2,500. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, all right. This guy has already played a deeply bizarre first creature. Why would you draft this thing?
Oh, I love it when they open with a very bad card because it either means I'm going to win very quickly or I don't understand what's going on and the game's going to be over very quickly that way.
And then he's attacking into my first strike creature. Okay.
Strong start.
Oh, never mind. No, I don't have first strike right now. I mixed that up. Oh, and then he's buffing him. So okay. Just
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a combat trick somewhere,
this is
right?
bad card advantage, sir. You're.
You're playing poorly.
I don't.
hard-
Okay.
it's
I
hard
mean, we'll see how this
disadvantage.
goes, but yeah, you're just kind of you're going backwards, big guy. All right.
Oh gosh.
I guess it's
All right.
hard to like use a kill spell to get card advantage into for Mirrodin artifacts. So fair enough, I guess. But
Yeah. Gosh, why does this take forever? Okay.
so I've
we're
got
gonna
the
do-
Blade Graft Aspirant on the table. He makes my equipment cost 1 less, and my next turn is going to be comical.
Nice.
It's going to be glorious.
I've been playing a ton of Pokemon and basically zero Magic lately.
Yeah,
My friend-
a little more too.
My
Pokemon's
friend
great.
up here, I kind of was like, hey, you should check out Pokemon. And he played Magic with me quite a bit. And he's like, yeah, sure. So he did. And then he brought over his Pokemon binder from when he was a kid. And we priced out the first page at like $1,400.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, good. But then apparently Pokemon does something really cool. They sell like non-legal versions of the previous year's top 4 like world championship decks for $15.
yeah, I think I saw something about that.
And so he came over yesterday and he bought 2 of them. And so we just got to play these absurdly high level or high power level games of Pokemon.
Hey, we'll see you, Commissar.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out, dude. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it is wild how much Pokemon at high levels resembles like vintage Magic more than anything else.
It is just very fun to play because you just get to futz around with your deck so much, which is just kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, what if your whole game was tutors? Just all tutors. Oops, all tutors.
and card draw. Don't forget the
tutors.
The comical amount of card draw.
That's the thing. I was talking to Jane about this. Right? I was just like, I keep accidentally drawing my whole deck. Like I lost my game because I accidentally drew my whole deck, and I was like, whoops, I didn't notice I had drawn. So I had like a 30 card hand, and I was just like, oh.
Yep.
Whoopsie daisy.
And seeing as like card draw and tutoring are my two favorite things in Magic,
I just got attacked by a 0 attack creature. That was an option.
I mean, it's an option. It's not always a good one, but it's an option.
Yeah, it just confused me. I didn't realize it was attacking. Like my brain didn't compute that it was there.
Yeah, you got to press that spacebar button.
Yeah, so weird.
Careful, you could like give it Toxic a bazillion with some random spell, and then you'd lose.
Well, no, because you have to. Toxic specifies you have to deal combat damage, and the 0 doesn't do any damage.
He could give it Toxic a bazillion and +1.
There you go. Got me.
Damn.
You'd have to do something really. I'm curious if you can actually get a creature to Toxic 10. It would have to be. So you'd obviously have to be starting with it because I think there's 2 different Toxic 4. No, I think it's only 1 Toxic 4 creature. That one. I'm trying to think. You have to put like 4 of that 1 blue card on it that gives a Toxic 1. Yeah, you could do it. It would cost like 500,000 mana though. Like it'd be absolutely wild.
Mana is of no consequence.
I'm aware. Yeah, it's just the thing you'd have to do would be actually nuts, but it could happen.
Okay, so I think actually the plan of attack now is to figure out why my camera is no longer functioning.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's a problem. Did I bump the cord? That's probably what I did. This thing is so finicky. Nope, that doesn't appear to have done it. Display capture. Nope. Video capture device. Camlink. Let's try something else. Okay, so I can maneuver the camera thing around, but I can't change what the source is. I'm confused. Streamlabs, why you do this to me? Oh, there we go. We got something to happen. How far into this is this? An hour and 20 minutes? Okay, I will just do my best to edit this out for YouTube's.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to the 8 people watching the empty screen.
I'm one of them.
I'm one of them too. I finished looking. I think I might just go to sleep.
That's fair. Yeah, this is probably a good place to call it for the night.
Okay.
So, thanks for coming and hanging out, everybody. We will be continuing to do this on every other Thursday, and hopefully soon I will have something that's not Custodes to paint in front of the camera.
And I'll figure out my webcam, so
Nice.
whatever I'm working on too.
Okay. Alrighty. Until then, good night, everybody, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
See ya.
Come to play, stay to slay. Back and forth, come and go. I'll tell you what you wanna know. How to set your trap, watch as I attack. Try to play the game, try to stay sane. Working that brain, hope it's not in vain. You can try to play it safely, but there's no way you can break me. Time to get ready, the foe is coming steady, and we'll give it all we've got. Keeping it light, but holding on tight. It doesn't matter if we win or not. Gotta give it your all, even if you fall. We came to fight. can try, but I've got line of sight. You come and talking smack, well we ain't like that. Talk is cheap, hard work and skill is where it's at. Now when your men wilt, you best try not to tilt. And if you beat me, there's no need to feel guilty. I don't play too safely, and there's no one here to save me. Time to get ready, the foe is coming steady, and we'll give it all we've got. Keeping it light, but holding on tight. It doesn't matter if we win or not. Gotta give it your all, even if you fall. We came to fight a fair fight, but now there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You can try, but I've got line of sight. Did you think you could get away this time? How cute. Well, I've got line of sight. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You can try. I've got line of sight.